Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY easy farmhouse trick-or-treat banner, and it's like a last minute project. So we're going to use some jute. We're going to use this wide burlap that we always use for our banners from Walmart. And we're going to use these leftover candy corns. When we made the candy corn banner, we had some that were opposite, backwards, or whatever. So that's what we're going to use. So what I've done here is I wanted to show you on Microsoft Word. I have printed out the words trick or treat, but I didn't print out all the T's and all the R's. You only need one of each. And I've used the Jeri-Ann font in a 500. And what that will do, that will give us this perfect size for the width of this banner. And I thought that that looked like kind of a old font that would, I don't want to say creepy, but see it like that country farmhouse, apothecary type of stuff. I don't know what I'm saying, but you guys know what I'm saying. And I'm just repeating all the steps for making a banner that we've done before. If this is your first time watching, I will share with you quickly what I'm doing. Is the banner, this burlap usually has a wave to it, but I'm cutting on a straight space, and I'm just making 12 of them. You need 12 of them for the words trick or treat. And I'm just using the first one to measure along. And you can see as I'm cutting in a wave, but I'm keeping in the space of the burlap. Okay, and you want it to be a little longer than your letters. So depending on how you want to finish the bottom, and you want to fold over the top. Now folding over the top is just an option. You can run a bead of glue across the top and just weave in and out of the burlap. That is entirely 100% up to you guys. I just like the way it looks like when it's folded over. Okay, and you want, like I said, you want 12, and you want to use the first one to measure all the remaining ones, because if you, I've said this before, but if you use the first one to measure the second one and the second one to measure the third one and so on, you're going to end up with the first one being really short and the last one being really long. Okay, so now after it's all together, even though I did that, I still managed to not be 100%. And I went and I picked my shortest one. So you want to make sure once you fold over the edge of your shortest one, what you're going to do is you're going to find one of those straight rows again, and you're going to use it to fold across. And I use finger pressing, which is like basically use the heat of my hand to iron, and then help fold. And then I run a bead of glue along the very edge, fold it over. Just be careful that you don't burn yourself. I do a very light bead of glue because you really don't need a lot. That's why it looks like it's going so quick. That, and I've sped up the video for you guys, but so what I'm doing then is I'm take the first one, and you're going to use that to measure, line up the bottoms, and find out so they all fold the same. So what's good about lining up the bottoms and having them all fold the same is that they will be uniform. Even if they weren't cut uniform, they'll fold uniformly. Okay? And then you just want to repeat this for all 12. I do have a couple of partially done Halloween tutorials from Harry Potter, but I haven't been able to complete them because I haven't been feeling well. So I apologize for that. So I wanted to make sure that this is a nice sit-down craft I can do for you guys. So I'm able to sit down today. So I'll show you that, okay? So like I said, you just want to repeat for all of them. Now, for this particular banner, I decided to do a different bottom than I've done before. Usually I make sort of that peak up the middle banner. And this one I decided to do I cut the corners off the bottom. But I'll show you that in a few minutes. But before you even get started, research what shape banner you want. And if you Google images, banner shapes, it'll show you all the different varieties. I was contemplating making bigger triangles because the candy corn is a triangle. But I just really, really enjoyed this Algerian font in this size, and it would have had to be really long for that K to fit. All right, but you guys have seen me do that before on lots of other things. So now I just want to show you real quick. You can see really well through the burlap. Now I have this printed on yellow paper because I had tons of it left over from, I don't even want to tell you, it was 10 years ago, but it was. And I'm just taking a Sharpie, which again, I forgot to tell you needed a Sharpie. And I am just outlining and then filling in. And this particular font, I think one of the things that made it like an old time sign was the fact that it had sort of like a 3D line next to it. I really do feel like this would be on like a creepy doctor's office, or I don't know. I don't know why it is drawn to me like it's creepy. Maybe it's the A, who knows. But I'm just going in and filling in the lines, and I want to show you what it looks like against the yellow background. And for this particular one, just for you FYI guys, you need 3 T's, 3 R's, and then the rest of them are just ones. So it's like an I and a C and a K and an E and an A and an O. Don't forget the O. And when we made the candy corn banner, we made 5 candy corns of the other kind, and in the spaces of the 5 were these leftover 4, which was my inspiration for this. I was like, what am I going to do with these 4 candy corns? And I was like, hey, how about if I do trick or treat, and I will put each candy corn, one on each end and then one between each word. And I just really love the way it came out. Not only were the candy corns an inspiration, but I also thought, like, we have 2 doors at our house, and we have a little sign on the door that tells everybody the trick-or-treaters that are to come around to the front of the house. Because we don't have a front walkway, people have to come through our carport either way, and I don't want them to come to the carport door because the front porch is all decorated. So I thought this would be another great way to hang over the archway on Halloween so the people know where they should be trick-or-treating. All right, and yeah, we kind of have a we put a big giant spider web over the door. I think I should show. I'll check my Instagram, guys. I'll show you that on Halloween. But we put a big giant spider over the mudroom door so that they don't come to the mudroom door. And we have a little sign hanging on the utility room door, which is next to the mudroom door, saying to come around the corner to go trick or treating. But we've been here long enough. I think everybody pretty much knows. So I'm just continuing, and I tried this. This is a double-ended Sharpie that has like a thin and a thick. And I originally tried to just fill in with the thick, but it worked so well with this thin. And you could paint these if you wanted to paint these letters. I just found that the Sharpie is super convenient. You probably do use a lot more ink than you would paint. And I also want to show you how I messed up that K, but it still looks okay. So do you see that K right there? I kind of messed up the shadow on the upper right-hand arm, but it still looks good when the whole sign's done, and you can't really even tell. But again, I've told you guys 100 times, farmhouse, rustic, you gotta mess it up. I think that handmade look, the distressed, the antique, all of those looks really do add to the authenticity of the farmhouse look. So anytime you flub, that's, it's a good sign. Because you have to think about it. Even back then, a lot of those signs were all hand painted. There was no computers to print stuff out, And I think that the A is the last letter. I know I kind of put the E. Yeah, the A is the last letter. Because I did the T's already. So this A, I don't know, like I said, see this A? It's kind of like creepy looking. I was wondering maybe this is what made me think it would be creepy looking, but I just went with that one. So then the next thing we want to do is we want to determine how big and match the corners on the bottom. I'll show you. So what I've done is I've taken my K, because my K is my widest and biggest letter. I mean, they're all the same height, but the K is my widest letter. And I wanted to make sure I didn't cut the corners off, that I was going to accidentally cut off the corners of the letters. So I'm just taking this piece of paper and I folded the K in half, and I've matched the wide ends of both, the left side of the right side of the K, so that I can find equal distance. And I've cut the banner length and width. And then I folded in half and cut the corners off. And I try to make a best isosceles triangle you can get so that both corners have the same angles, but as long as they're the same. And now what I'm doing is I'm holding it up to each banner, and I'm actually doing on this reverse side, and I'm doing a straight line across the bottom, and I pulled it up a little bit so I wouldn't glue on the paper. And then I'm doing up each corner. And then I did the whole word trick, and I set it aside to dry. And then when trick was done, I went back and I cut off the corners outside of the glue area, just outside of the glue area. All right, and then I repeated for the other letters, the other words, and I did the same thing. I did or, and then I set it aside, let it cool, and then trimmed it off, and then I repeated with treat finally. And then once that's all done, we can string them on. Now, I'm sorry that it went so fast that you actually can't see me poke holes in the candy corns, but I'll link the candy corn video in the description box before how I just stuck a pencil 2 rows down and 2 rows in to make a hole, and then I fed it through the candy corn first. Then I attached the loop on the end. I create a loop on the end, and then I attach the loop on the end to a pencil, or you can do this anything that's got like the little clasp that you would put on your shirt, or tuck in your shirt or on your pocket. That's what we're going to do, is we use that to catch on and use it like a needle, and it just threads straight through the all the letters. Then we take the pencil off. We use the pencil to poke the hole in the candy corn, and then we repeat. So again, it goes candy corn trick, candy corn or, candy corn treat, candy corn. So we start and finish with the candy corns. And there you have it. I hope you really liked this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family, anybody you know who needs a last minute holiday item. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. Ring that bell and YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a video. And as always, you guys take care. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye.